We have a guest in the studio. And good morning.
Good morning.
We have Ingar Rudholm, the author of a children's book called Traveling Circus. Yeah. And right off the bat in the front of the book, it says, "Thanks to my mom for teaching me how to draw and to my dad for encouraging me to write." That's very nice.
Yes, this is very... My mom was always very encouraging as far as art and design, and so was my dad. Was like, he thought, well, if you're good at writing and good at art, maybe you could write a book or something.
Sure, encouraging his son to do things right.
Exactly.
Now,
and
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Whitehall,
You did?
right across the street from Helmet Playhouse. Today it's Cocoa Cottage, but my mom owned a art gallery, Homestead Art Gallery.
Oh, I kind of remember. That was a while ago, but I think I remember that.
Yeah, that was probably back in the 80s, mid-80s.
Okay.
And so after I attended Whitehall High School, and afterwards I went on to school for architecture and fine art.
Wow.
And in the final years of my mom's life, she had dementia, and she left behind a set of brushes and a box of paints. And Traveling Circus is a tribute to a lot of famous artists, but it's also a tribute to the first artist I had ever known and loved, which was my mom.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is great. That's a wonderful tribute to your folks, you know. Now, this book, the story centers around a painfully shy 14-year-old boy named Flynn Parks, correct?
Correct. And
he was bullied in school.
He was bullied in school, and because he was a little different and he was shy. And during the course of the story, he was bullied in school, and he has an argument with his parents.
Then he ran away.
Okay. And he gets kidnapped by this mysterious traveling circus, and the owner, Salvador Dali, Salvador is the ringmaster.
Right.
And during the course of the story, he nearly gets eaten by lions, nearly drowns, but at the heart of the story, he's building his courage. He's becoming a brave lion by the end of the story, and hopefully win the heart of a girl named Rena.
Yeah, well, this would be a great book for the children to read, right? Any age? What age is it actually constructed for? 10-year-old, 12-year-old?
It's intended for 10 to 14-year-olds, but it is also like a young adult book because anybody that liked the Harry Potter series, because in the book it has a bit of magic in it. And but I'd also like to mention there's no swearing, drinking, or adult themes, so it's suitable for grandkids and adults alike.
Well, I'm just, you sent us a book about a month ago, and it's home. I set it somewhere in my house, and I couldn't find it this morning, but you brought in some copies, and possibly tomorrow, the next day, we're going to give a copy or two away over the air. I think that'd be fun. But now this book is available in Whitehall, or Montague at the Book Nook, correct?
Yep, it's available at the Book Nook, and they have several copies there. That's also available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, so you can purchase it there. And I tried to keep the price relatively small, so it's like only $9.
That's tremendous. That's wonderful.
But at the heart of the story, it's about finding your courage and finding your voice. And in this day and age, there's a lot of bullying, whether it's online or in school.
Yeah, it's
so
getting worse.
And it's getting worse. So hopefully after reading the story, the child will learn to be more courageous, like Flynn learns in the book, and using his talents to find his voice. And hopefully that's what he learns, or what the reader takes away from
Exactly. So the young people could read this, and they get a scope of what's going on, and they probably try and take that into their own lifestyle eventually, because bullying is an awful thing to do.
Exactly.
Kids can be very, very cruel, but we live and learn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I see acknowledgments here in the front of the book. Thanks, Uncle Donald Ingersoll, for providing words of wisdom and encouragement. You took a rough draft, polished it, and turned it into something special. So you got the whole family involved in here.
Yeah, it was a family affair. And
sure.
Like I said, my mom taught me a lot about art. So I did all the illustrations for the book. And the nice thing about this is kind of dual meaning. It has a message to it. Plus, at the heart of the story, it has, it's about famous artists. And so it's got dual meaning to it.
Oh, yeah. So it's paperback, 174 pages?
It's 174 pages, and it's a quick read for anybody.
Right.
And hopefully it keeps people interested, because I try to make some plot twists and things of that nature.
Well, as I thumbed through it here, this would be kind of like an afternoon of good reading, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I had... What people will talk to me about is, like, if they go on vacation or something, they like to read it and kind of just get their mind away from things, know.
That's right.
And just get away from the day-to-day day-to-day hustle.
Yeah. Oh, man. That can be something that's getting worse. That's another thing that's getting worse.
Yeah.
Is the hustle. Oh,
hustle
man.
And bustle.
Hustle for a buck. Okay.
Would it be possible to let me read an excerpt?
You bet. Sure, certainly. Go ahead.
To set up the scene, like I mentioned, he ran away from his home,
right.
And he's hiding under the bleachers watching this private show of the circus. The lights dimmed, and the spotlight shone down on Jack, the animal trainer, walking to the center stage. He carried 2 hula hoops as 3 white bunnies hopped behind him. At first, this struck Flynn as silly, but the feeling didn't last. For the next act, Jack will need a lovely assistant, Salvador said, speaking into the microphone. Without any prompting, Deanna brushed her long black hair with her fingers and rushed to the center stage. Geez, why does she always want to be the center of attention? Flynn thought as he shook his head. She's not the prettiest girl in school. Jack handed Deanna 2 hula hoops and said, "Hold one in each hand and then extend your arms straight out from your body." 3 white rabbits hopped over to Deanna. One sat in front of her feet while the other 2 sat in front of the hula hoops. Jack bent down, petted 2 of the rabbits, and then he took a stride backward. He snapped his fingers, and the rabbits jumped through the hoops in slow motion. While in midair, the rabbits' white fur turned to light brown, their fluffy feet changed into claws, and their teeth became fangs. The rabbits morphed and grew into full-sized lions. They landed on the ground, turned around, and stalked Deanna. She dropped the hoops, pulled her arms close to her chest while her parents jumped to their feet. Jack petted the 3rd rabbit and quickly transformed into a lioness. The lioness wiped her paw at Deanna, ripping her designer skirt. Suddenly, it jumped on top of Deanna, pinned her to the ground, and let a growl inches from her face. Help, Deanna's frightened plea barely escaped her lip. By lions, what could I do? He never considered himself a hero.
Okay. I love to read to children. I've been invited into several classes over the years,
Cool.
And you got to do your homework. You got to read what, you're going to read. You have to pre-read it, of course, so you don't come with any surprises. But there's a way to do it to keep the kids just
mesmerized.
Yeah, just right there at every word, and it's a delightful thing to do. Well, I'll tell you what, can you stick around? We're going to take a little break.
Sure.
And we'll be right back, kind of wrap this up. Thank you. We're talking with Ingar Rudholm. Rudholm. Hello.
Yep.
Ingar Rudholm, the author of the children's book, Traveling Circus. We'll be right back. Aunts and uncles.
Mother-in-laws.
Yeah, and then there's mother-in-laws, and the honeymoon's over. So we're back with our guest this morning, Ingar Rudholm, the author of a delightful children's book called Traveling Circus. It's for 10-year-olds up to 14,
14 years.
Actually, anyone, even for adults. This would be a great book for everyone, every member of the family to read.
It's a quick read, and I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a paperback, 174 pages. Ingar Rudholm and Donald Ingersoll. That's who the story is by. But it's set in Whitehall, Michigan.
Yep, my hometown, and it has some. It describes some of the scenes in Whitehall, like Funnel Field and Colby Street, and kind of describes Whitehall a little bit. So I'm trying to put it on the map,
Okay.
Maybe international.
And we have a couple of copies. I'll be giving one away tomorrow, Wednesday, and then another one on Thursday or Friday. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show.
This book is available at the Book Nook in Montague. Where else?
Yep, Book Nook in Montague, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. So you can find it either, and it's also on it's available for e-Kindle too.
Okay, $9.
$9.
That's great. Wonderfully priced.
Yep.
And a good afternoon of reading for the entire family. Get 1 or 2 copies so they can all just sit around on a nice, maybe a rainy spring afternoon,
In April, which is coming up.
Sure.
Quick.
And sit around. The whole family can read this wonderful story, and I think everyone will benefit from it, too.
Oh, yeah. Because, like I said, the main message is him becoming courageous, and that's kind of a metaphor in the story where a rabbit turns into a lion, which is the main character's progression.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for being here. I think we've touched on everything. Anything you want to add?
No. Well, I should probably get back to work at Industrial Assemblies in Fruitport.
Oh, that's right. This guy has a day job.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not really a rich author or anything.
No, this is the first book I published, and I self-published it and on Amazon, and hopefully it takes off. And I know some of my coworkers are probably listening at Industrial Assemblies, and it's a family-run company, and we do a lot of furniture design, store displays for Kohl's and Menards and things of that nature.
Really?
So that's my day job, but by night I enjoy writing.
Do you have any plans for another book?
Well,
I thought so.
There's a possibility because I had a nephew come up, or a niece come up and say, so at the end of the book, Flynn likes this girl, and in the second book, do they ever go on a date or anything? And I'm like, well, you'll have to read the second book to find out.
There you go. Well, you have a wonderful imagination. You're a very nice person. Want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you. This has been a great pleasure.
Yeah, and maybe midway through the summer we'll have you back and you can talk about the next book.
Part 2?
Yeah, part 2. Okay. We've been talking with Ingar Rudholm, the author of the children's book Traveling Circus, and I advise everyone to pick up a copy or 2 of this book. It's just right. It's priced just right, and it's an afternoon of good reading, and should work out pretty good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay.